£1,000 Sisters made its comeback on with Season 8 of the show on January 6, 2025, ET. However, we are just one episode down, and the drama is already brewing between the sisters. So, as they return to the screens, let's take a look at what happened in episode 1, Abysmal to the Wedding. Amy and Tammy's big fight. Amy and Tammy have drifted further apart since the last season. However, while their relationship with each other is going through a rough time, their romantic partnerships are being marked with some big milestones. After the big blowout, Amy and Tammy are going their separate ways, and they have decided not to play nice. Amy called Tammy a deadbeat mom and toxic, claiming that the latter was dead to her. She stated, "I can't handle her toxic ass no more. I'm done." However, despite the drama, the sisters are adjusting to their new lives, getting engaged and undergoing weight loss surgeries. Tammy even reflects on her life after losing 500 pounds through weight loss and skin removal surgery. However, it was her update on her love life that left the fans intrigued. Will Tammy not attend Amy's wedding? The latest episode of £1,000 Sisters brought a shocking revelation from Tammy: she won't be going to Amy's wedding. However, to spite her superstitious sister, the latter chooses a haunted place to tie the knot. What stood out to viewers was that Amy was rushing into the relationship, given she had only been with Brian for a month when they got engaged. Amy got arrested because of him, as it was his car that the cops searched and found marijuana in, leading to Amy getting 2 years of probation. The only standout point for the viewers was that the engagement was longer than the courtship. As the couple planned their wedding, a true fallout happened between Amy and Tammy when the latter started losing weight. The change was a 360 for Tammy, from almost dying to working on herself. She even had excess skin removal since the prior surgery. She qualified for surgery. However, Amy did not see it that way. Tammy was doing great. She was down to 185 pounds. Amy says Tammy became full of herself after the weight loss. Amy felt that Tammy had become too full of herself after losing the weight and failed to see that she was starting fights with everyone. One of the biggest fights she had was with Mandy, after which she walked out, claiming that the latter had bullied her. Mandy simply made a joke after Amy passed gas. The places had switched between the sisters. Previously, Tammy had been jealous of Amy's weight loss. And now the tables had turned, as she was the one being jealous. Amy had completely sidelined her own journey and milestones, having put on some weight after having 2 kids, and she wasn't fully happy. The sisters tend to lash out when they're unhappy, and when they see the other being happy, things couldn't be any more strained. Since Tammy had her surgery right when Amy's first marriage to Michael was imploding, things couldn't be any more strained. She was forced to fight for access to her own bank account on top of pursuing custody because Michael didn't really want the kids. Amy's ugly divorce battle with Michael. Amy's divorce battle with Michael was extremely ugly, as the latter tried everything to hurt her. Nonetheless, none of it mattered once Amy got the primary custody of their children. But on terms that she has to do parenting classes after her drug arrest. She met Brian, and they plan to get married at the sanatorium on Halloween. However, an issue arose because everything was booked due to their last-minute decisions. The absence of her family and the venue issues led Amy to have a breakdown. However, Brian didn't seem much interested in comforting her or mending bridges with her family. Instead, he made it extremely clear that he didn't care if anyone showed up, since he didn't have anyone from his side attending the wedding. While Amy wanted a huge haunted wedding, her family was extremely religious, leaving them at odds, which she happily ignored because it was her day. Her first wedding was rather small because they didn't have much money back then. She just wanted a big wedding, even if the only person who showed up was her new best friend / Tammy's replacement, Lily. Tammy moves in with her girlfriend, Andrea. Meanwhile, Tammy wanted to explore her options as she considered moving in with her girlfriend, Andrea. She wanted to get a job and wanted to work at the animal shelter. While her lack of work experience acted against her, it helped that she was good with animals. Tammy made a living as an influencer before, sharing a page with Amy. However, now she hadn't talked to her in 2 months. Chris and his wife struggle with weight loss. Apart from the sisters, Chris was also focusing on losing weight so he could get skin removal surgery. His wife, on the other hand, was trying to qualify for bariatric surgery and was struggling with avoiding sodas. She'd bake non-stop as a coping mechanism and also because she wanted to start her own catering business. But the overly sweetened goods were making it extremely difficult for the family to focus on weight loss. Misty's birthday party. Meanwhile, Misty and Mandy lost some serious weight, with the latter shedding without trying as she was not doing well. Tammy was going through something similar as she experienced paranoia again. Later, no one showed up at Misty's birthday party, since it was at their dad's house and it was neutral territory. With one crucial rule, no one fights on the property. Meaning, they had to take their drama out if they wanted to throw hands. While the family got thrilled about Tammy's possible engagement, Brian confirmed the sanatorium was no longer on the table. However, Chris deadpanned that he wouldn't have gone either way, leading Amy to leave with Brian. She felt they were making a joke out of her wedding. So, she technically stuck by the family rule because she left before she got into a fight.